morning. Good morning. It is 15 minutes after 10, and you're tuned to Radio Doctor on Women Radio 91.7 FM, the voice of women, Nigeria's radio, first and only radio station for women and their families. And Radio Doctor is Nigeria's first specialized health program where medical doctors consult and advise us for free on live radio on Women Radio 91.7. It is broadcast Mondays through Fridays 10 a.m. So this is the first edition for this week. My name is Fumi Bangala, and our radio doctor today is Dr. Olufumilola Akionla, a consultant pediatrician at St. Ives Family Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Akionla. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Fumi. Happy to join you once again for this program.
Awesome. All right, our topic for this morning is bedwetting in children, causes, myths, and when to seek help. And Dr. Akionla is here to really dissect this matter, which I know is plaguing a lot of Nigerian parents right now. The numbers to send your messages or your voice notes to 0703 1756 537 or 08155 917 917. You can call or WhatsApp. You can call us on 07000 917 917 or 09155 917 917. This one is an important topic for parents. So you want to do well to stick around with us so you can listen to what Dr. Akionla has to say with regards bedwetting. Okay, let's get into it. Dr. Akionla, what exactly is bedwetting, and at what age does it become a concern?
Thank you very much. I would say bedwetting is known medically as nocturnal enuresis. Is the involuntary release of urine while sleeping, then occurring in children who have not yet fully developed nighttime bladder control. It is extremely common in young children and is usually a normal part of development. It's
Okay.
not a behavioral issue or laziness, but most children outgrow it between the age of 6 years of age. So bedwetting is a part of developmental process, that some children have to go through before they get, the full bladder control. And so it is a developmental phase, and which all children will have to go through. But if your child is over 6 or 7 years and is still wetting bed 2 or more times a week for 3 months straight, that is when you have to see a doctor.
Okay, you mentioned that bedwetting is a normal part of childhood, is a development milestone, but parents always worry. So when you say that it is a normal part of childhood, how does one begin to allay the concerns and fears of parents in this kind of case? I know that you mentioned right now that if a child is above the age of 6 or 7 and they're bedwetting 2 or 3 times a week over the course of 3 months, then it's abnormal. But some doctors would say, oh, no, it's normal. Some parents will even be like, I bedwetted till it's 15, is normal. So I want you to really tackle what you mean, because some parents start taking their children to potty
Okay,
training.
I will want to explain it this way, that for individual, we have, I mean, due to one thing or another, children develop bladder control at, you know, for each individual develop bladder control at certain
Right.
type of age. There are a lot of things that comes into play. We realize that girls usually have achieved bladder control earlier
Mhm.
than the boys.
Mhm.
For most girls, before the age of 5 years, they would have achieved bladder control. You
Hmm.
know, most of them, most of the girls. Some babies by age 2 years, they would have stopped bedwetting because your friend's child at 2 years stopped bedwetting, and yours is still bedwetting at the age of 4 years.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that something is wrong with your child.
Hmm. Right.
So, and for children, when you notice a girl child stop bedwetting, let's say you have a twins, one of them is a girl, one of them is a boy. It's possible that the girl child will achieve a bladder control earlier than your boy, that they are born the same day. That is what you have to know. Then you also realize that a lot of things come into play, genetics, some medical condition, which we will discuss as we continue.
Right.
But
Okay.
when you get to the age of 7 years and these children are still bedwetting, you know, more than 3 times a week and longer for 3 months, that is when you may need to seek medical help. So we may say the cutoff, for both sexes is 7 years. And when it is continuous for longer than 3 months, then seek medical help.
Okay. All right. Let's go on further. What are the most common causes of bedwetting in children?
Um, in children, the common causes of bedwetting in children, uh, which is nocturnal enuresis. Bedwetting is also otherwise also known as nocturnal enuresis. Is include developmental, when you have developmental delay in bladder control, uh, can be one of the to go and void urine as many times as possible
Right.
when the bladder is getting full. But some of them may not be able to wake up to do this,
Yeah.
so they wet on themselves. Uh, what other causes include deep sleep pattern. You know,
Mm.
when some children they sleep deeply, and because of this, uh, they find it difficult, to wake up to go and void. You know, some of them their brain may not detect if a full bladder during. Other causes include family history, which we can also say it's genetics. You know, if one of parents bedwet, you know, their child is more likely uh,
Huh.
to bedwet.
That's
If urine production, when there is low level of a hormone that you call, you know, antidiuretic hormone, which we also call vasopressin. This can cause the body to make too much urine at night. So, and for a child that has not yet developed a full capacity, to wake or either do this deep sleep or probably the brain is not well developed to respond to the bladder overflow. Some of them may void on themselves if there is this, uh, if there is low level of vasopressin. Uh, Constipation, you know, can put pressure on the bladder, which can lead to reduced control uh, of the bladder. Stress and anxiety,
Mm,
such as starting a new school, a
mm,
new sibling, family conflict, change of environment for a child, it can trigger bedwetting in some children. Medical condition, such as urinary tract infection, diabetes, sleep apnea, that is associated with snoring, hypertrophy of the adenoids. This can lead to uh, bedwetting in some children because it makes them to, I mean, sleep deeply and may not be able to wake up to
mm,
avoid. Other include children with attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
mhm.
They are more likely to experience bedwetting.
Hmm. Wow. You've talked about genetics, you've talked about sleep apnea, you've talked about that deep sleep, you've talked about stress and anxiety, you've talked about in terms of maybe they're about to start a new school or a new class, maybe they're about to go to boarding house. But the one that many Nigerian parents believe is that what a child drinks, especially, is this true or does it depend on one child to another?
Yes, there are some drinks, Uh, will I say that there are several types of drinks
Hmm.
that can enhance or worsen bedwetting by acting as diuretics. They increase urine production or by irritating the bladder during the sleep. So that such type of drink should be avoided, in a child that that is bedwetting. Uh, some of these are the drinks to avoid in the evening, you know, to reduce uh, bedwetting in children.
Hmm.
One of it is the caffeinated drinks. Drinks like coffee, tea, colas, energy drinks, hot chocolate, they are the major contributors. Because caffeine stimulates the contracts, leading to leaks. So most people that takes caffeinated drinks before sleep or at night before sleep, uh, you know, children like that, they are likely to bedwet. Then, when you take carbonated beverages, such as the fizzy drink, including soda, sparkling water, it can irritate the bladder and increase the urge to go and void. So there's likelihood for patient that is bedwetting if they take this kind of drinks, you know, to enhance the risk of bedwetting. Citrus juice and acidic drink such as orange juice, grapefruits, tomato-based products can also cause bladder irritation and enhance the risk of bedwetting. Drink of adult alcohol, especially for adults that drink alcohol, you know, alcohol suppress the antidiuretic hormone,
Hmm.
which leads to increased urine production. And most of the time, when you are overtly, you've taken enough, so much alcohol, there's tendency that you void on yourself. Uh, we also know that milk, while it's a common bedtime drink, it can trigger bedwetting in children with sensitivity or contribute to constipation, which may cause bedwetting. Uh, Use of sugary or sweetening drinks, high sugar drinks, and those containing artificial sweeteners, you
Mm.
know, can irritate the bladder and act as stimulant, which can. Uh, so for children uh, that have the history of bedwetting, as much as avoid giving them all these listed drink before bedtime. So rather than that, they should ensure that whatever hydration is done, whatever thing they want to take, if they have to take any of this, they should take it during the day. You know, they should be consumed in the afternoon. Limit fluid intake. Stop giving drinks 1 hour before bedtime, before before bed, so that they should go to toilet, and that should be the last to empty their bladder. That should be the last thing before sleeping. And they should also avoid salt. You know, salt food
Mm.
is high in salt, and because of this, it can include you. I mean, increase urine production, acting as diuretic. So, uh, as much as possible, we should avoid all these listed drinks. If we have to take this, do that during the morning time or early afternoon, and ensure that before bedtime, this child void, that should be the last thing before sleeping.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Dr. Akinla. Let's now move on to treatment because you had started talking about that initially. You said that if this continues over a certain age, 6 or 7, more than twice a week, what are the treatment or interventions available for parents who are seeking help for their children?
Um, for parents in whose children are their bedwetting,
Hmm.
uh, as much as possible, as I mentioned before, bedwetting for some children may be part of a physiological uh, developmental process
Hmm.
in which they are going. But parents, you become concerned when you notice that at age 7, these children, they are bedwetting,
Hmm.
and they are still bedwetting every at least more than 3 times a week,
Yeah.
and for 3 months consecutively. Then that is when it become things of concern. When this
Mm.
child, any child that is older than 7 years, that is still
Mhm. Bedwetting.
bedwetting. So, and there are different modality, you know, for managing bedwetting. Uh, some of these we have mentioned. You know, for a child that is bedwetting, avoid giving drink, fluid, or water. All this should be cut off at least 1 hour
Before
before
bedtime.
bedtime.
Mm.
Then, as I mentioned earlier, avoid giving all these those listed drinks, carbonated drinks, caffeine, high sugary food or diet. I mean, before sleep, give that. If you have to do that in the morning and early afternoon. Then empty bladder before sleep. And as much as possible, the children, the parents should also work with these children to ensure that they wake up at night sometimes, especially when you notice that these children void or empty their bladder 2 or 3 times at night before daytime. So you may have to wake up with them at night to be able to um, help them to uh, empty their bladder. Then other ways is that ensure that there is a conducive environment for them to wake up at
Hmm.
night to void. Make sure
Hmm.
that the bathrooms or the lights, I mean the toilets, is close to their bedroom.
Hmm.
Where they wake up, they won't be afraid, to go and void. Some children just because of fear, you know, um, to go to the toilet before you know it, they void on themselves. So for those children, provide, I mean, where they can easily go to ease themselves near, where they are sleeping, and make sure that place is well lit so that when they wake up at night, they can easily go to the bathroom or toilet to ease themselves. There may be some children that you may need to use some uh, alarm system in which this is attached to the
Right.
underwear of this or the body of this
Okay.
children, so that when they want to void, this will sound and it will wake them up, especially those that have their own the cause of problem is deep sleep. For those that have this sleep, to wake them up and to go and void. Others, you may need to do investigation, you
Hmm.
know, to find the cause, especially for a child that has been dry throughout. Then at a point, you suddenly notice that this child start bedwetting. You may need to screen this child for diabetes. Some of them may be the first sign that this child have diabetes. For a child that's been totally dry at once before and suddenly start bedwetting. For this kind of child, you may need to screen for diabetes. Some of them may need to screen for urinary tract infection to
Hmm.
find the cause of why they are bedwetting. And even just treating this alone may stop the bedwetting. And there may be some, maybe due to sleep apnea, that should be taken care of. Or if they have adenoidal hypertrophy that is causing sleep apnea, you may need to take care of that to be able to help them, so that to stop bedwetting. But overall, there is a medical uh, treatment for diabetes now, which you may have to give uh, this hormone uh, to the I mean, uh, for the treatment of of uh, of diabetes, but ensure that it is the physician or the doctor that prescribe. So when child qualify, to that point at which you have to see doctor, go and see the doctor, which will take history, do examination, and give appropriate treatment. So there is a medical treatment for diabetes, for bedwetting now, but you have to screen the child,
Hmm.
sure that the child does not have diabetes, then this child can be given and be placed on the medication on doctor's prescription.
Hmm. Just to clarify, this doctor's prescription is when they've screened the child and the child has diabetes, right?
No, when they have screened the child, they sure that the child does not have diabetics.
Right.
They
Okay.
sure that the child is not that the cause of bedwetting is not due to urinary tract infection, after taking history and doing some necessary tests, so if then this child can be placed
On medication.
on the medication.
Okay, parents listening out there, you heard it from Dr. Kionla that there is a solution. That's after you've tried every other thing. You've screened, you've established some maybe bedtime routines for your child. You've made sure that your child doesn't drink certain things before bedtime. If you're still experiencing the same thing, but then Dr. Kionla, they have to see a pediatrician for this, right? It's
Yes,
just
they
any
have to
ordinary.
see they have to see a pediatrician to, I mean, for the prescription of the medication. It's
Hmm,
not an over the counter medication. That is
medications.
why I will not mention
The
the,
name. Oh
the
yeah, please don't. Please don't. Now we have some parents who maybe their children, because this is conversations of the child has been bedwetting from maybe when they were a baby up onto maybe age 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We also have some children. I've seen cases of some children who had stopped bedwetting maybe at 3, 4, and then they started bedwetting maybe at 7, 8. They started bedwetting after maybe a 3-year period. What could be the cause in that instance?
I mentioned earlier that there are some there is what we call primary enuresis
Hmm.
or primary bedwetting or secondary bedwetting.
Okay.
Primary bedwetting is when this child has never been dry at all
Mm,
from the
mm,
time that he was born. While secondary enuresis or secondary bedwetting is maybe this child has been dry, you know, has not been bedwetting for some time, but suddenly start to bedwet. And through the course of our uh, discussion,
yes.
I've mentioned some of the causes, of secondary bedwetting. One of it is stress, change
Mm,
of environment, change of school, change of routine that this child get to know. Suddenly, the parent change it. Though depending on the age of the child, it may affect the child psychologically, and you
mm-hmm,
notice that suddenly bedwetting.
mm-hmm,
You know, you just change home, the setting that they got to know before, and suddenly change. So it may affect this child start bedwetting.
mm-hmm,
Some of it is urinary tract infection, as I mentioned earlier. When they have UTI, there is bladder irritation, bladder overflow. Some of them may start bedwetting. Maybe the cause of the sudden bedwetting. Some of them may be diabetes, you know, especially, a child has been dry for some time, and
mm-hmm,
suddenly you notice start bedwetting without any cause. So all these things, let this your child take, I mean, say doctor. They may take good history, examine the child, do a proper investigation, and may be able to find the cause. And this will be tailored toward the treatment will be tailored toward the cause of the bedwetting. But
mm.
for those that doesn't have any whatever reason, then some of them may qualify to be placed on uh,
Yeah.
prescription.
Mm. Okay. All right, all right, all right. But now let's talk about child building your child's confidence. We are rounding off now. What we typically see when a child is bedwetting is that they repeat, oh man, no, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. The child bedwets, and then the parents are beating the child, or maybe if it is in a boarding school, the child is being shamed. And from the looks of things, from what you've said today, it's not necessarily something that it's not like the child planned and said, oh, I'm going to read on myself, oh, I'm going to do it on myself. Like, what's the importance of building the confidence of children in who are experiencing or going through this bedwetting? Yes.
I would say for parents that have an older child,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that is bedwetting, especially seeing your 16-year-old child, your
Yeah.
13-year-old, your 17-year-old still bedwetting. You know, there's tendency to for you to start uh, saying derogatory word, shaming the child, you know, but all this cannot help this child to start voiding. As much as possible, try to encourage this child and put everything in place, you know, try to support them to be able to go out of this process.
Yeah.
Uh, Rather than uh, shaming them with what they are, I mean, saying derogatory words to them,
Yeah.
what you should do is to support. If it's what you may have to be part of the process of waking up at night
Hmm.
to help them to void, you know, especially that those that void 2 3 times before the morning break, wake them up. You may have to set up time, you know,
Hmm.
to wake them up, especially for those that have deep sleep, to wake up at night to go and void. Uh, you may also have to, the family have to also have to pattern their, what would I call it, their diets, their
Hmm.
food, dinner, to be ensure that they eat early and drink whatever thing they want to drink early, so that this child won't drink so late into
Mm-hmm.
night
Mm-hmm.
to enhance the habit of bedwetting.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the ways the parents can help to support. And also during the time that they are dry, you know, please encourage them, and then what would I call it, celebrate them, you know, because there are days that they may not void or bedwet.
Yeah.
On days like that, celebrate them.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do it? What happened? Yes, that is good. This is what I want you to be doing. Can you tell me how you are able to achieve this so that you can follow that tomorrow? You know, rather than shaming them or using derogatory words on them. This one lowers their self-esteem,
Yeah.
they make the situation worse rather than improving the situation.
Hmm. Hmm. And do you think children can eventually outgrow bedwetting without treatment?
Yes, children can outgrow bedwetting without treatment if there is no medical condition, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that is causing it. Some of them is just because they are, just as I said, their bladder is still growing, taking control. There are some of them may be due to genetics, and
Mm-hmm.
with time, you know, the the child will achieve the bladder control, you know, when the time comes. So yes, some of them do uh, get to the point that they stop bedwetting without using medication.
Hmm.
You just need to give some little support, waking them up at night, and before they get used to it. Some
Hmm.
of them you may just need to change the lighting in your bedroom so that it will help them to wake up and give them the boldness to wake up at night to go and void themselves. So there are some that may be a little thing that you need to do, you know, while some may need to go to be on medication.
Hmm. Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Akiola, for today's session. I learned quite a few things, even more things about bedwetting. To be honest, I didn't even know that bedwetting could be genetic. I had no idea. So, and parents have to be gentle with their children and kind with their children, because if you bedwetted till age 16, why are you beating your 6-year-old that he or she is still
Yes,
bedwetting? That's
yes,
just
bedwetting can be genetics.
mm,
If a if a if a child, someone that bedwets, have the chance of transferring that
wow.
to his or her child, and if the two parents are they are bedwetters, then it increases double the risk in their children,
Mm,
of bedwetting.
hmm. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on the program today, Dr. Akianla.
Thank you
Parents
for
out there, thank you so
thank
much.
you for having me.
Yes, yes. Parents out there, you heard it from the doctor. She's a consultant pediatrician, so she knows what she's talking about. And she's talking about different things that you can do and put in place for your children. She talks about habits to put in place, waking up in the night to take your children to the toilet. She talks about making sure that their room is close to the bathroom so that they can quickly go to the bathroom. She talked about sleep apnea, stress sometimes and anxiety. We typically think that stress and anxiety is only for adults, but we're hearing that children also can be affected by this. So please, when you've done all of this, even diabetes, we've learned about diabetes in children, which can cause bedwetting. When you've done all of this and there's still an issue, please go see a pediatrician so that you can take it to the next level. That's what we've heard from Dr. Akinola this morning. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Akinola, for coming on the program this morning. See you same time next week for another edition of Radio Doctor. Radio Doctor is broadcast Mondays through Fridays, 10 a.m. So you want to do well to stick around with us tomorrow for another edition of Radio Doctor. Dr. Olufumilola Akinola is a consultant pediatrician at St. Ives Family Hospital. Stick around with us. We still have more programming for you today. Many thanks to my producer, Aisha Sani, and executive producer, Tomoki Walishanaya. Thanks to Rachel and Benjamin for producing me as well this morning. Catch you same time again. I know I've said that. I'm saying it again tomorrow for another edition of Radio Doctor. Bye for now.